Hi everyone, it's Plastic EP here from Melbourne, Australia. And let's introduce one of my fave people, Tony Kishman in New York. How are you, Tony?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, Plastic.
That's it. And I want to say a quick hello to Brad Swiger out there in Texas. How you going, Brad?
Hey,
Now, Tony.
how are you, buddy?
Good, man. Tony, tell me about this kit. You purchased it from the Beatlemania Broadway show. Tell me a bit about the kit.
Well,
Yes,
it was who are you talking to, me or Brad?
I'll talk to you, Tony, first.
Okay, I go first, Brad. It was a part of of the backline that was on the Broadway show, the National Touring Company, and it started in actually the Schubert Theater is where that kit started out, and it ran across the United States. We did a national tour, and then when that show ended in '83, I believe was the last year of Beatlemania, I asked the producers, what are you going to do with all the amplifiers and drums and costumes and everything, actually? And they said, well, we're going to give you guys the bass guitar, the guitars that you used. So, Jimmy and, Bob and myself and everyone, we kept our guitars, but the drums, I guess, they were for sale. So I bought the drum kit, and along with the Westminster amps and the bass amp that was on the tour, and I kept them with me in Tucson, Arizona for many, many years. And they just basically sat in a warehouse,
That's fantastic, Tony. Now we'll get Brad to go through what repairs he did with the kit and tell us a bit about the kit. Go for it, Brad.
Okay. I'm actually still in the process of doing it. I haven't finished it yet, but like Tony said, they sat in a warehouse for a long time, and Tucson's pretty hot and dry, so the finish on the outside is cracking, and the drums are not really round anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a vise inside the drum, round it back out. And once I get that taken care of, I'm going to put new finish on it. It'll look just like the old finish and restore them back, and they'll be ready to rock some more.
That's great. And what's the next kit you got there, Brad?
Hollywood. Oh, the next kit I've got is just like the one Ringo played on the rooftop in '69 on the Let It Be sessions. It's probably one of my favorite kits because I redid this kit from the ground up. When I got it, it was pretty trash. I mean, it wasn't playable at all, and it sounds fantastic. I can play those songs from Abbey Road, and it sounds spot on.
So that's your kit. That kit belongs to you, yeah?
Yes, this belongs to me.
Okay, let's have a look at your other kit that you own.
All right. This is a '64 Ludwig Black Oyster. I have refinished it. The finish on it was in pretty bad shape when I got it, but it's got all the original hardware, just like Ringo used, including the Rogers Swivel-matic tom mount. I used this kit in Atlantic City when I was playing Ringo full time. And it's been all over the country with me, and it's a lot of fun to play too.
And show me about the sticks. Tell me about that thing there that's framed.
Oh yeah. This has a picture when I got to meet Ringo in Las Vegas. An autographed drum head with his artwork on it, and this pair of sticks right here by my thumb is the pair of sticks that was given to me after a show in 2002 in Fort Worth, Texas, where Ringo played. And I helped do the setup on stage and got to set up his drums for him that night. And we talked about in our previous interview, I had a chance encounter with him backstage as well.
That's fantastic, Brad. Now, we need you to hop on that Let It Be kit, and Tony and I are going to see if you pass the audition, all right? So just beat a few drum beats there.
Right, every dog in Texas is about to bark when I do this.
Here we go. Audition time.
Play something everybody will recognize from Abbey Road.
Hey, Brad, fantastic.
Love you.
Hey, fantastic. You passed the audition. You can go on tour with Tony to Australia, all right?
There you go. He got the
All right,
job, no
Tony.
doubt.
All right, we'll see you there, Brad. See you, man. All the best.
Good job, Brad. See you soon.
See you, Brad. Brad's gone, Tony. Now we're free. We did all
Great
right,
drummer.
You know how interesting that was seeing that, Tony? Honestly,
Yeah,
I
it was
love
great.
that.
It was great. He's a great drummer. I'm so happy to know him, and been working with him now for several years. And he adds so much to the band. He's such a solid drummer, great guy to hang with, and he adds the world to the band. I mean, he's really great.
Now, Tony, I've got to ask you, right? You played Paul when they went to, I want to know more about the UK leg of Beatlemania. Can you tell me how great that was playing over there?
Yeah, that was an amazing time. It was 1979, I believe, maybe a little before, and Beatlemania was went to London at the Astoria Theatre, and the band at the time was Jimmy Poe and Mike Palakis and Louis Colucci on drums, and we were just so excited to be in London doing Beatlemania. And it was at the time when Beatlemania was under a lawsuit with Apple. So we were there. It was a big controversy. And we were just kind of nervous, because we were younger. And here we are in London doing the show in front of the Beatles, actually. We're thinking, well, the Beatles will show up, right?
Yeah.
And it was really a scary, exciting time, but it was a major, major hit show there. People that came to see us were like, you would look out in the front row, you'd see like Fleetwood Mac, and then you see the Monkees, and then they'd come backstage, and you were thinking, well, why are they coming to see us, And but it was a lot of fun. It was a big deal, and I liked it because when George Martin came to the show, that's when I met him. So that was where that happened in London.
That's fantastic. Can I ask you, who came from the Monkees to see it? Was it Mickey?
Yeah. Mickey, all three of them. Well, three of the Monkees. But I remember Mickey the most, because he, we just remember him coming up to us and talking and whatnot. But he was fun to talk to. And later in the, I want to say the early 2000s, Mickey joined us in our Beatles show, Classical Mystery Tour. And he joined us on stage and sang She's Leaving Home and Sgt. Pepper. And we did, a couple of Monkey songs with him. And it was great having him as a guest in our show. So it was fun to meet him then and then to meet him again later,
I heard that he likes singing Oh Darling.
What is it like singing that?
I heard that he likes singing the Beatles song Oh Darling.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he does all those songs really effortlessly. He's got the voice. He really does. And still to this day has the great vocal. He's great. Yeah. Did
he tell you any stories?
It's funny. We went out to lunch and had some food and talked. And he would tell us some stories about, like, I remember one story he told us that in the beginning, they didn't really know how to play their instruments. They had other people playing the songs and that they would sing them. And he goes, and they got really bummed about that. So they went and learned how to play. And after they learned the music, they went back and recorded some of their songs over with them playing the songs. So they actually re-recorded some of their songs. I don't know exactly which ones, but it was an interesting story,
That's great. And as I said, can you remember some of the celebrities that came along to see you there in London?
Well, the biggest deal was Sir George Martin. That was the biggest, most amazing person that I have ever met as far as in the Beatle world. I was able to meet good musicians like my idol Andy Powell from Wishbone Ash. I got to meet him there. And I'm trying to think of some other, of course, name musicians. I mean, people like Neil Diamond, and Neil came backstage and he said, I just loved you guys. The A1 performance. And I was like, that's nice to hear from a guy like Neil Diamond.
Of course. Did Barry Humphries come?
Who?
Barry Humphries. You know who Barry Humphries is?
I'm afraid I don't.
Okay. He's a famous Australian that does Dame Edna Everage.
Okay, no, I don't remember.
Okay, doesn't matter. Mickey went to one of his shows in London too. It's okay. You got to understand, here in Australia, it's like a little bit hard. And I've got to tell you, during the 60s growing up, right, this is what it was like. The biggest influences on me were the US and the UK music. But we were always like 6 months behind. And at that point, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have this. We're like lost down here, and we were like, everything got fed to us like at the end. You know, like we're the last to learn all about things happening overseas. So that was an amazing time, the 60s. Anyway, this Beatlemania show, as I said to you, I'm just blown away because doing that London leg must have been a great experience at that time. Like it's like being royalty in England.
It was a lot of fun because now that we're talking about this, I remember Rod Stewart came to see the show. I didn't meet him. And his guitar player, Gary Granger, at the time, who wrote Hot Legs and Passion and some of the other bigger, maybe 5 or 6 of Rod's big hits. I met Gary and we wrote songs together after we met. I said, I'd love to get together with you and write some songs. And I remember writing some material with Gary Granger, and that was a lot of fun meeting people like that, and they really, the show was a big focal point for England. The people that hated us because we were from Arizona. How could that cowboy from Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, how could he portray our wonderful Paul McCartney, And in all the write-ups, people were raving about my performance and the band. The band was great, So I was real proud to show what we could do, and the confirmation from it all, the one that made it all right, and it was Sir George Martin coming back and saying, "You guys are okay."
That's right. Tony, I've got to ask you now.
What's that?
And tell me, I've got to ask you something. Tell me the stories now. Look, you look like Paul. Now, walking the street, either in London or America, how many incidents have you had where people have mistaken you for Paul? Must have happened.
Well, I hate to say it, but more recently than back when I first started. I was 20-some years old when I started doing this, So I am literally everywhere I go. People will look up and they'll go, wait a minute, is that him? And I'll look and I know they're looking. And it's really, really prominent more in the airports. And when I'm getting on a plane or, getting off a plane and walking down the terminal and at baggage claim and all that. So that is really amazing that people will literally think I'm him. And I always say the same thing. I'm not him, but I play him in a show. And, it's always a very nice situation. And they want their picture with me. And some people will not believe I'm not him. So I don't know. It's pretty funny, but it's fun. It's great. And I would be a fool to say that I don't like it. Because, you love when you're recognized. You want to be loved. People, Paul now to this day wants to be liked. That's his whole reason he performs. He's on that stage, and he will be on that stage until he can't breathe anymore, because he just wants to please people. And I feel kind of the same way. I really love getting up there, and I won't get on that stage unless I've got the greatest band of all time around me, and I've got such wonderful musicians that side with me that that's what makes it wonderful.
Well, I'm all right, Tony, because I don't have that problem. I walk out of my house and no one recognizes me, so I'm okay.
Hold on, I got to plug my phone in. Can you believe this is the end of the day for me and probably the beginning of the day for you, right?
Exactly. It's 8:20 here. Now, I got to ask you, Tony, you got to tell me about the bases behind you. And if possible, if
And I'm not
you
trying-
can play one of them.
Well, let's see. I have them all hanging up, and these are the basses I play. This is my newest one here. Let's see if I can make it work for us. This is the one that I use on stage, and this is a relic bass. It's the same exact copy, so to speak, of Paul's bass now. So he plays that on stage. It sounds really good, and I just recently got this in Germany from Hofner, because I'm endorsed by Hofner. And this bass guitar, along with another bass that I got, which is this one back here. This is the 61 bass. I was they were literally I just paid for the wood. Do you know what I mean? There was no real charge for it, but because they were so kind. And they drove them to me in Reutlingen, which is a 3-hour drive from where these guitars are made, So I've had this guitar. I've had this one. This is another remake. And I use the remakes on stage because I would never take something old out on the road. This is the one I use quite often here. And I've got, got my ego stuck on the side of it. Does it see? Can you see the name?
Yeah, I saw it. Tony Kishman. Tony, can you play that one a little bit for us? Can you play a little bit on that?
Yeah, I can certainly. Let me finish my show and tell. This is the bass I used in Beatlemania.
Okay.
And this one here is, if you look now in Beatlemania, they had bunks. We were called bunks. And this is the tag on the back of what kind of strings for Tony Kishman and we were bunk 7. There was no bunk 6. So there were 6 bands in Beatlemania, and every one of the bands were really good, So let me see if I can do this.
Of course.
Let me get my coffee.
Which is your favorite bass you're going to play? You're going to play the Beatlemania? I think you have to play the Beatlemania. Is that right?
Okay. Well, the thing of it is, I hope it's in tune. I don't want to sit around tuning for you.
That's all right. Take your time and tune it.
It should be in tune. It should be. There it is.
That sounds great. Now, I got to ask you, out of the show, what was the main song that you played, that you loved playing?
In which song? In which show?
The Beatlemania.
The main song we did?
No, the one you loved the most, the Beatles song that you played.
Oh, I see. I don't think that there's a main song I can, that I love the song "The Long and Winding Road," but I usually play it on piano. I don't know why, but sometimes the minute you pick up a guitar, By the way, I dropped my window on my finger. That's what that is, folks. See that?
You're not joining Kiss, are you?
What's that?
You're not joining Kiss, are you?
No, not anytime soon.
Too many
people going underground. Too many people never sleeping late. I don't know why I had to sing that.
No, but you get the joke, don't you? Because they wear. What? I think June was wearing black fingernail polish at one point or something.
Yeah. See, it does. I can still play, but it sure is ugly. They tell me it's going to fall off. So, not the finger, but the nail.
Can I hear an early?
I don't. Please. I got to say that I was born in Tucson, Arizona, and I do love the song "Get Back." And it's the easiest bass line in the world. It's just one note, basically.
Okay.
That's all it is. Well, Georgia was a man who thought he was a loner, but he knew it couldn't last. So that's one of my favorites. We do that in the show all the time. I don't know. All of the songs we do, I love. I can't think of any one in particular.
Tony, anyway, any chance? One of my favorite songs is "All My Lovin'." If I had to write a song, I wish I could write that one. Is there any chance you can do that for me?
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll ride home every day. And I'll send all my loving to you. All my loving I will send to you. And so on and so forth.
Tony,
Yeah,
I've got to tell you,
that's a lot of fun, that one.
when the Beatles came to Melbourne in 1964, I don't know if you've seen the black and white footage. That's one of their greatest performances here at Festival Hall in West Melbourne.
Yeah.
And Paul sings that song. It's on video. It's totally unreal for 1964. It's one of the most polished, perfect songs and still is today. And let me tell you, that song should have been released as a single, an A-side single. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Single here.
They didn't do it here.
Really? Wasn't? I know it was a single here in the States. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. I believe, Tony, you're coming to Australia with your show.
Yes, I'm doing a tour, a 5-week tour in April. I'm going to be in mainly Sydney. We're doing Sydney. We're doing the East Coast of Australia. And I don't really have all the dates. I do know Twin Towns. Is that called Twin Towns? I'm not sure of it.
So. I think it's called Twin Towns. Yeah, something like that. But let me tell you.
I'm doing Twin Towns. And I'm doing quite a few shows. We're doing, I think, 16 shows.
I hope you make it down to Melbourne.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do Melbourne. I just don't know the actual dates. In fact, I asked. Now, what happened was we were scheduled, of course, for September of this year. And let me put this back up here.
Hold on.
So we were scheduled for, what do you call it? A full tour of Australia in September. And guess what happened? Some kind of a virus took over the world. And it's sad. I mean, it's first of all, of course, it's not funny because it's devastated so many lives, so many people. And I feel terrible for the people that have lost their lives.
Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, think of all the people that have literally out of work, out of business, have lost, pretty much everything. And but this is one of the casualties, is me not going to Australia at that time. So what we're going to try to do is go in. We're scheduling late March. I believe March 15 and 16 are already booked, and we're booking as late as April 25th. So all between March 15 all the way through April 25th are going to be all, those are the gigs. So we'll post them on Facebook and all that stuff when they're all firm and been rescheduled, and they got to go from one date to another. And that's what we're waiting on. But it is going to happen. They are definite dates.
Tony, the name of the show is Live and Let Die. What is the name of the show?
Yes, Live and Let Die, the music of Paul McCartney.
Right. And I'm going to ask you now, when they want to find you on the net, where's the best places to find you on the net? Just tell everyone.
We're at Live and Let Die Show. That's liveandletdieshow.com. And you can find us. You can see all the, the tour dates that are coming up. Now, right now, of course, like everyone's, schedules, everything says being rescheduled. But there are some dates that we are firm now that we've actually put back on the, the planet. And we're going to be doing, the first one coming up is July 11th. Now, that's the soonest we can do anything. And I'm pretty confident that that'll happen. And then there's dates in August, some in May. August, September, and so forth. But we had to take out the whole tour for Australia. That was sad because I was ready to go. And so, yeah. But just go to that website, liveandletdieshow.com, and you can take a look at our website, see who's in the band, take a look at the videos, photos, etc., etc. You know.
Tony, tell me, have you been to Australia before?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you go? Did you come to Melbourne?
Yes, we were in Sydney, Melbourne. I remember flying over one particular time. Of course, we did the Crown over there. The Crown.
Yeah, casino.
We played there a couple of times. Beautiful, beautiful place. And we've done quite a few things in Australia, but not recently. This was a while ago. This was 2008. And even before 2008, I think like literally 2000, I think we were there. And when we were there, we did the Sydney Opera House. I remember it was really, really something to go in there, full houses. And there are some videos on YouTube. If you look up Classical Mystery Tour, which is the Beatles show I do with Jim Owen, Chris Camilleri, and Tom Teeley, we were there in the Sydney Opera House. We did 3 shows in a row, and they were all sold out. And what an amazing, amazing place. I love Sydney. It's just an amazing city. So,
I was going to say,
been there and really loved it.
The Monkees finished their tour, Mike and Mickey. That's the last place they played. They sold at the Opera House there, Sydney Opera
right?
House.
Is that
yeah,
right?
and I believe they're gonna put a video out on that show, so we can't wait, a DVD or something. I heard.
Wow. Well, I would love to see that. I mean, I saw the Monkees recently. I want to say 2 years ago or something on that last tour they did, where I believe it was Mickey and just one other monkey, and he was not very well. So it was a good show because Mickey was singing his butt off. But that was my most recent outing with the Monkees, seeing them, and it was in Tucson, Arizona.
Growing up, what's been your biggest musical influences?
Well, growing up, when I was 8 years old, I saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, and I'd be a fool to say that they didn't, influence my musical life and my life generally. I mean, I couldn't believe that I was seeing these 4 guys on TV that were so unique and so amazing. You know, they were so talented and exciting, and I was going, "Wow, what are these guys doing, man? This is crazy. Look at these girls screaming at them and stuff," you know. And I was blown away that they made girls do that. So I'm not kidding you when I say this. I saw the Beatles sing All My Lovin' on Ed Sullivan, and I went and grabbed a broom, right? And I held the broom, and I said, I'm going to pretend like I'm Paul. And I don't know why. So there was a show and tell at school, and they said, what would you like to do at show and tell? And I bought the 45 of All My Lovin', brought it to the school, and in class, I played All My Lovin', and I lip sync as an 8-year-old in front of the classroom. And I was playing Paul. I was going, ooh, I'm Paul McCartney, you know. And the kids all in the school were looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy? He must be nuts, you know. So that was my first endeavor at playing Paul at 8 years old.
But see what that led to? I'll tell you something. I've seen photos of New York in '64. People at service stations wearing Beatle wigs, filling up petrol and walking around the streets.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that's like, you know, that's the fad. That's what it was. Like in '64, Munsters was the fad as well.
Right. Well, the thing is, remember back, I don't know if you remember this, but when the Beatles came out, they were selling Beatle wigs in gas stations. I mean, there were dime stores and Walgreens. You could get a Beatle wig, you buy their record, get a lunch pail, and maybe a pencil that said the Beatles on it. You know, everything that you can imagine they were doing as far as marketing goes and stuff. I was blown away that, you know, and I bought a Beatle wig, and I made my mom buy me, you know, I had to have a Beatle wig. and we put those Beatle wigs on, and there were teachers doing it, and you go to school and you see a teacher trying to be funny and wearing a Beatle wig, so it was a lot of fun growing up with the Beatles.
Exactly. But Tony, I've got to say, here in Australia, we didn't really have those soft wigs. We had a plastic hat, like a hard hat that was made of plastic that you bought and you put on your head, and it was actually plastic. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were made out of. They were horrible. I mean, and I don't wear my own hair in the show. I wear a wig, but I guarantee you, it's not made out of plastic.
Oh. Anyway, Tony, I've got to say, I can't thank you enough for the interview today. It's been a total buzz. If there's anything you want to say to your fans out there, please say it. But I'll say thank you so much from Plastic EP. And if you want to give everyone a message out there, my message is stay safe, look after yourselves, and I'll let you take out the show, Tony.
Yes, exactly. I hate to say it, but yes, stay safe, everyone. And I hope soon that things go back to normal. We all want normal. I think we all learned something from this, though. I mean, we learned how to do things. We learned how to work without money. And we also learned how to be better people, I think. And it's nice to see that much with people in the world. I've noticed that. But yeah, just stay safe, everybody. And I look forward to getting back on stage. And it's nice to meet you, really. Plastic, I appreciate it very much.
It's my pleasure. As I said, we'll catch up here in Melbourne. And do me a favour, just stay on the line there, Dunko. Just stay there. And from Plastic EP and Tony Kishman, all I can say is we love you out there. Thanks so much for watching.
Bye-bye.